All right, let's talk about some of the trickiest words in English, the ones we use to talk about expectations. From really strict rules to those kind of unspoken social codes, getting these words right can make a huge difference. So let's dive right in.
Okay, let's just jump in with the scenario. Picture this. You've won a contest, and the prize is free pizza. Awesome. The person behind the counter says one of these two sentences. Now, one of them means you get that delicious, free pizza, but the other one means something totally different. Do you know which is which?
If you guessed the first one, congratulations, you're getting free pizza. You don't have to pay just means it's optional. It's not necessary. But you must not pay. Whoa, that's a prohibition. It means you are actually forbidden from paying. Maybe it's a prize, and trying to pay would mess everything up. See? It's a really subtle but super important difference between having a choice and having a strict command.
And that whole pizza example, it's the perfect setup for our first section, the hard lines. This is where we're going to look at those non-negotiable rules and obligations.
So, when something is absolutely necessary, like there's zero choice involved, we use must or have to. For example, if you want to apply for a visa, you must show proof of citizenship. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement you can't get around.
So the total opposite of an action you have to do is a prohibited one, something that is absolutely forbidden. And the key phrase to lock in here is must not. Just think of it as a big red stop sign.
For instance, for safety or customs reasons, you might see a rule that says you must not carry large sums of money. Now, this isn't just friendly advice. It's a serious rule you have to follow. Breaking it could get you into some real trouble.
Okay, now let's flip that on its head and talk about a lack of necessity. This is all about having a choice. When something isn't required, we use our free pizza phrase. Don't have to.
This is a fantastic illustration. You totally can rent a car if you feel like it, but it's not necessary because, hey, there's a bus. You don't have to is your signal that you have the freedom to choose what you want to do.
All right, so we've covered the hard and fast rules. Let's move on from that into the world of advice and good ideas. This isn't about what you must do, it's about what you probably should do.
I love how this example is put together. First, it tells you why something is a good idea, and then, bam, it gives you the advice using should. Should and its very close cousin ought to are just perfect for this. They're strong recommendations, but they're not strict rules.
This pyramid is a great way to summarize everything so far. At the very top, you've got that super strong obligation with must and have to. Right in the middle, you have recommendations with should. And then down at the bottom, it's total freedom with don't have to.
Okay, but what about all those expectations that aren't written down in a rule book? You know what I'm talking about. Social rules, plans, just the way things are meant to be. This is where the language gets even more interesting.
For these unspoken rules, we've got a really useful phrase, be supposed to. This little phrase signals that there's an external expectation, whether it's coming from society, your boss, your family, or just a plan that was already made.
And man, is it versatile. We use it for scheduled events, right? The game is supposed to begin at 10. We use it for correct procedures, like how the committee is supposed to vote. It also covers expected behavior, like children are supposed to put away their toys. And it's used for following orders, like when your boss tells you, you are supposed to go to the meeting.
Now hold on, because this is a super common point of confusion. I am supposed to go means someone else, an external force, expects me to be there. But I suppose I will go? That's totally different. That just means I guess or I think I'll go. It's just a personal thought, not an obligation from anyone else.
Before we wrap everything up, let's look at one more cool way we use should. It's not just for giving advice. We can also use it to talk about our expectations for the future.
So when you say this, you're not giving the mail carrier advice, are you? Of course not. What you're doing is expressing an expectation. You're saying, based on what I know about the mail schedule, I predict it's going to arrive soon. It's a prediction based on what's normal or what's planned. So with all these different shades of meaning, how do you pick the right word in the moment? Let's put this all together into a really simple decision-making tool that you can use. Just ask yourself these quick questions. First, is it a strict rule or a law? Then you need must or must not. Simple. Step 2, is it more of a social rule or a plan that's been made? Use be supposed to. Step 3, is it just a really good idea or some friendly advice? Should is your best friend there. And finally, step 4, is it completely optional with no strings attached? Then it's don't have to. And that brings us to our final thought. Every culture has its own set of things people are just supposed to do. You know, like taking off your shoes before you go into a home or how you're supposed to talk to elders. So what's an unspoken rule from your culture that might surprise somebody? Thinking about that is a really great way to make these powerful little words stick. Thanks for joining me.